New Avatar is easily the most religiously charged one so far, and not in a preachy way, but in the question.
First off, I feel like I should make a disclaimer. I get what these people are trying to do, but you gotta understand at the same time, bro, some of them may claim that they're trying to save you, trying to open your eyes, but everyone is here to make money. You know what I'm saying? So you tend to question the validity of the things they say, you know what I'm saying? I know for a fact, I know people that do a lot of crazy shit for the views, and you know what I'm saying? As a Christian myself, I'm very interested to hear what they said. I already watched the movie, the whole thing, the whole 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even guilty. Not even a speck. I'm not even guilty. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful movie. 1, 2, 3. Favorite series of all time. I feel like it was lacking somewhere, but you know what I'm saying? It's gonna break records, but let's see.
It quietly forces you to sit with. Underneath the spectacle, it wrestles with problems that we're all familiar with, and it offers an answer that sounds compelling and hopeful, but doesn't hold up. So without giving away any spoilers, let's talk about the movie as a movie, how it holds up, what it's actually saying beneath the visuals, and where that answer ultimately falls short. So this film continues where the last one left off on Pandora, a world built on connection to nature, to each other, and to the spiritual system or god called Awa, meant to keep everything in balance. The earlier films followed a former Marine named Jake Sully, who leaves his human life behind to become part of the Na'vi, which is an indigenous people whose survival depends on staying aligned with that system. Jake builds a family, becomes a leader, and helps preserve that fragile harmony. But the conflict never fully disappears. And this movie picks up as the balance begins to fracture. The tension isn't just coming from humans anymore, but from within Pandora itself, as some Na'vi begin to question and abandon the spiritual foundation that they've trusted. So the story moves into a darker territory, less about survival and more about belief, loss, and what people turn to when the thing that once held the world together stops working. Okay, now with that context, let's talk about how the film holds up from a production level before unpacking what this movie actually says about God. From a production standpoint, for better or worse, this is exactly what...
What? I understand that every single movie that Hollywood makes has an agenda, right? But what? Bro, it's not even like that, dog. Like, this shit isn't even on Earth. You know what I mean? Except somebody's gonna come to me and be like, except that's what they want you to think. They want you thinking that it's not about Earth. And broski, it's like how... Have you all watched the war? Is it the war between the land and water or land and sea? That series? I was surprised to find out, to read the comments and to find a lot of people siding with the sea people. How delusional can you guys be? There's obviously an agenda, Lapa. Huh? Project Bluebeam, I don't know. But it's gonna get to a point where some creatures are gonna arise. And when are you going to side with the annihilation of the human race? Because I mean, they're already killing us with everything. They're feeding us and what they put into the air, into the water. It's a fact. But what are you saying, brother? But anyways,
people have come to expect from Avatar. Visually, it's still unmatched. The scale is massive, the environments are incredibly detailed, and the technology is always pushing things forward in ways that very few filmmakers would dare to attempt. So whether you love or you hate these movies, it's hard to argue that anyone else is building worlds at this level of immersion. But at the same time, like the others, this film is long, over 3 hours. But performance-wise, the acting is solid, and the Fire and Ash Na'vis are such...
A movie that's below 2 hours is not a movie. It's a short film. It's not a movie. It's a short. Movies are supposed to be 3-4 hours long, bro. According to that's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a movie should be a movie. The fact that these people are able to keep you engaged throughout the whole 3 hours, bro, is insane, bro. You know what I'm saying? If it's true about what they say about Hollywood, bro, then I mean, you know it's true, but then the devil is working overtime, bro. Like,
such a cool twist to this story. They're a clan that rebelled against Awa because they felt like Awa abandoned them in the destruction of a massive volcano. And these Fire and Ash Na'vi, they're interesting because they move differently than the other Na'vi. Less upright and more hunched and tense and submissive to their leader, which visually sells the whole vibe of grievance and control. The movie largely delivers. It looks incredible, it sounds incredible, and it's exactly what you'd expect from a new Avatar movie. But it also reinforces a pattern that people have noticed with Avatar from the beginning. We've never been better at building worlds like this, and we're still struggling to say something truly new inside of them. And that's where this movie gets interesting, because beneath all of the polish, it's clearly trying to wrestle with something heavier. What really stood out to me is the kind of God that it assumes actually makes sense in our culture today. Awa is a distant god. She's always present in the background of the world, but she isn't personally involved in the day-to-day lives of the Na'vi. She doesn't speak, she doesn't judge, and she doesn't confront. She simply exists as a force that keeps things in balance. And for the most part, that's enough, until crisis hits. When things start to fall apart, the Na'vi turn to Awa, expecting her to act like a personal god. Not one who challenges them or holds them accountable, but one who steps in when things get desperate. A god who provides help without asking much in return. And that should feel familiar because it mirrors the kind of god that a lot of people already believe in today. Two sociologists studying American spirituality noticed the dominant view on our culture and they gave it a name: moralistic therapeutic deism. And in that framework, God exists, he wants people to be generally good and happy, but stays mostly hands-off. He isn't deeply involved in everyday life, but can show up during emergencies. So more like...
Oh, so in a nutshell, you all think you can predict or can explain how God operates, okay? Now, this is a BS video. This is a BS video. I'm going to leave it unlike because that's a whole lot of BS. I'm not going to even watch through the whole thing, bro, because I feel like he's even scripted. It's not coming from the heart, too. I feel like if something is scripted, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to get your thoughts out properly and keep us engaged and stuff like that. But I feel like, bro, this is, yeah, what you all think about it, I think it's a lot of BS, honestly. Christians, that's a lot of clickbait.